Let me tell you something that took me years to understand. The most dangerous enemy you will ever face in your entire life is not outside of you. That enemy lies right between your ears. That enemy speaks in your own voice. And because it sounds like you trust it, you believe what it tells you. You take its word as truth. But that voice has been lying to you for years. That voice has been sabotaging every good thing that tried to come into your life. That voice has been keeping you small and scared and stuck. This enemy knows every single weakness you have because it has studied you your whole life. It knows what makes you insecure. It knows what keeps you up at night. It knows exactly what to say to make you doubt yourself. And it uses that information against you every single day without mercy. That enemy is your negative thoughts. Plain and simple. It is not complicated. It is not some mystery you need to solve. The thing that has been holding you back is the same thing you have been feeding and nurturing and listening to for your entire life. Your own negative thoughts have been running the show. And until you learn how to kill them, they will continue to kill your dreams. They will continue to kill your potential. They will continue to kill your happiness. They will continue to kill every opportunity that comes your way. You cannot negotiate with these thoughts. You cannot reason with them. You have to destroy them. I am not being dramatic when I say this. This is life or death for your future. That those thoughts die or your dreams die. There is no in between. There is no compromise. You have to make a choice about which one is going to survive. And I am here to tell you that your dreams deserve to live. So many people never reach their potential because they never learned how to fight this battle. They never realized that the war was happening inside their own head. They spent their whole life fighting the wrong enemy while the real enemy was destroying them from within. Now here is the problem. You have been having a conversation with yourself your whole life, and nobody ever taught you how to do it right. Think about that for a second. You talk to yourself more than you talk to anyone else on this planet. But nobody ever sat you down and taught you how to have that conversation properly. You wake up in the morning, and the first thing you do is start telling yourself what you cannot do. Before your feet even hit the floor, you are already making a list of limitations. You are already setting boundaries on what is possible for you. And you do this without even realizing you are doing it. You look in the mirror and start pointing out your flaws. You do not see your potential. You do not see your value. You do not see what God put inside of you. All you see is what is wrong. All you see is what needs to be fixed. All you see is what you wish was different. And that is the conversation you start your day with. You think about your goals, and immediately your mind starts giving you a list of reasons why it will never work. It tells you that you are too old. It tells you that you started too late. It tells you that you do not have the right connections. It tells you that other people have tried and failed. And you just accept all of that as fact. And you have been listening to this nonsense for years. Some of you have been listening to it for decades. This has been your morning routine, your afternoon routine, and your evening routine. Negative self-talk has become as natural to you as breathing. You do not even notice it anymore. And you wonder why your life looks the way it does. You wonder why you cannot seem to get ahead. You wonder why things never work out for you. You wonder why success seems to come so easily for everyone else. Well, here is your answer. It is because of the conversation you have been having with yourself. Your words have power. Your thoughts have power. And when you spend all day, every day speaking death over your own life, you should not be surprised when things do not grow. You have been watering your garden with poison and wondering why nothing blooms. I need you to understand something very important right now. Your negative thoughts are liars. I do not mean they occasionally stretch the truth. I mean they are professional liars. They lie to you every single day. And they are so good at it that you actually believe them. They tell you that you are not smart enough. That is a lie. They tell you that you do not have what it takes. That is a lie. They tell you that you are not talented enough. That is a lie. Every single limitation you believe about yourself is based on a lie that you accepted as truth. They tell you that everybody else has something you do not have. That is one of the biggest lies of all. You look at successful people and you think they have some secret ingredient that you were not given. But that is not true. The only difference between you and them is that they stop believing the lies. These thoughts are not telling you the truth. They are just telling you what you have been conditioned to believe. Somewhere along the way, somebody planted these ideas in your head. Maybe it was a parent who did not know any better. Maybe it was a teacher who did not see your potential. Maybe it was a friend who was too scared to chase their own dreams. And you took those lies and you made them part of your identity. You started introducing yourself with those limitations. You started making decisions based on those lies. You started living your whole life inside a box that someone else built for you. But here is what I need you to understand. A lie does not become truth just because you believe it. A lie is still a lie, no matter how many times you repeat it. And the negative thoughts in your head are lies, no matter how real they feel. They are lies, no matter how long you have believed. You have to start challenging every single negative thought that enters your mind. You have to start asking yourself where this thought comes from. You have to start questioning whether it is actually true or whether it is just something you have always believed. Most of the time, you will find that it is not true at all. Now, some of you right now, your negative thoughts are rooted in your past. Something happened to you. Somebody let you down. Somebody walked out on you. And that experience left a mark on your mind that you have not been able to shake. Somebody told you that you would be nothing. Maybe it was a parent who was dealing with their own pain and took it out on you. Maybe it was a teacher who did not have the vision to see what you could become. Maybe it was somebody you loved and trusted. And those words got planted in your mind like seeds. And those seeds grew into trees of doubt and insecurity and fear. They grew roots that went deep into your soul. They became part of how you see yourself. And every time you try to move forward, those roots pull you back to that moment when someone made you feel small. But I am here to tell you today that your past does not have permission to control your future. What happened to you happened. You cannot change it. You cannot go back and make it different. You cannot unhear those words. You cannot undo that pain. It is part of your story. But you do not have to let it lie rent free in your head for the rest of your life. You do not have to keep replaying that moment over and over again. You do not have to keep giving that person or that experience power over you. The past only has as much power as you give it. Some of the most successful people in the world came from the most painful backgrounds. They had every reason to let their past define them. They had every reason to believe the negative things people said about them. But they made a decision that their past would be a chapter in their story, not the whole book. You have to evict those old memories from the place of power in your mind. You have to stop letting what happened to you 20 years ago control what happens to you today. You have to take your power back and refuse to let yesterday steal tomorrow. So, how do you kill negative thoughts? It starts with changing the conversation. You have been talking to yourself wrong for years. Now it is time to learn how to talk to yourself correctly. This is not complicated, but it does require effort. It requires intentionality. It requires you to pay attention to what is going on in your own mind. You have to become your own hype man. You have to become your own biggest fan. You have to become the person who cheers you on, even when nobody else is watching. Because the truth is, you are with yourself 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if you are not in your own corner, you are in trouble. You have to start speaking to yourself like somebody who actually believes in you. When that negative thought comes and says you cannot do it, you have to talk back. You cannot just let it sit there unchallenged. You cannot just accept it as truth. You have to open your mouth and say, yes, I can. And not just say it. You have to mean it. You have to feel it in your gut. You have to speak it with conviction. You have to declare it over your life until your mind has no choice but to believe it. This is not about empty affirmations. This is about rewiring the way you think about yourself. I start every single day by speaking positive things over my life. Before my feet hit the floor, I am already telling myself who I am and what I am capable of. I am not waiting for someone else to validate me. I am not waiting for my circumstances to change. I am speaking change into existence with my own words. Some of you feel silly talking to yourself. Some of you think this sounds crazy. But let me ask you something. You have been talking negatively to yourself for years, and you did not think that was crazy. You have been tearing yourself down with your own words, and that felt normal to you. So why is building yourself up any different? The conversation in your head determines the direction of your life. If you do not like where your life is going, change the conversation. It is that simple. Start speaking life instead of death. Start speaking possibilities instead of limitations. Start speaking faith instead of fear. Listen, part of killing your negative thoughts is controlling what you allow into your mind. And that includes the people around you. You can do all the internal work in the world. But if you are surrounded by the wrong people, they will undo everything you are trying to build. Some of you have people in your circle who feed your negativity every single day. Every time you share a dream, they have something negative to say. Every time you talk about what you want to accomplish, they have a reason why it will not work. Every time you try to do something positive, they pull you back down. These people are not helping you. They are hurting you. And some of them do not even realize they are doing it. They are just operating out of their own fear and their own limitations. But their limitations are not your limitations. Their fear is not your fear. And you cannot let their mindset become your mindset. You cannot kill your negative thoughts if you are constantly surrounded by negative people. It is like trying to stay clean while swimming in mud. It does not matter how hard you try. That environment is going to affect you. And some of you are in environments that are toxic to your mental health. You have to make some hard decisions about who gets access to your life. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your journey. Not everyone has earned the right to speak into your future. Not everyone should have a say in what you do with your life. You have to be more selective about your circle. I know this is hard because some of these people might be family. Some of them might be people you have known your whole life. Some of them might be people you genuinely love. But loving someone does not mean you have to let them pollute your mind. You can love people from a distance. Start paying attention to how you feel after you spend time with certain people. Do you feel energized or drained? Do you feel motivated or discouraged? Do you feel hopeful or hopeless? The answers to those questions will tell you everything you need to know about who belongs in your circle. I am a man of faith, and I am not ashamed to tell you that my faith is the biggest weapon I have against negative thinking. You can have all the self-help strategies in the world, but without faith, you are fighting an uphill battle. Faith gives you something to stand on when everything else is shaking. See, when I start to doubt myself, I remember that God did not bring me this far to leave me. When I start to fear the future, I remember that my steps are ordered by something bigger than my circumstances. When I start to feel alone, I remember that there is a presence with me that will never leave me or forsake me. Faith does not mean you will never have a negative thought. Let me be clear about that. Faith does not mean doubt never shows up at your door. Faith means you have something stronger than that negative thought to fight back with. Faith is the weapon that slays the giant of fear. If you do not have faith, you are fighting this battle with no ammunition. You are going into war unarmed. You are trying to defeat an enemy with nothing but your own strength. And I am here to tell you that your own strength is not enough. You need something bigger than yourself. When negative thoughts come, I take them to God. I do not try to handle them on my own. I do not try to figure everything out in my own mind. I give them to someone who can actually do something about them. And every single time, I walk away with more peace than when I started. Your faith connects you to a power source that never runs out. Your faith gives you access to wisdom that goes beyond human understanding. Your faith reminds you that you are not in this fight alone. And when you truly understand that, those negative thoughts start to lose their grip on you. Some of you have let your faith get weak. You used to believe, but life happened and doubt crept in. You used to pray, but disappointment made you stop. You used to have hope, but failure made you cynical. It is time to rebuild your faith because you are going to need it for where you are going. Now, here is something practical that changed my life. Action, getting up and doing something, moving toward your goal even when you do not feel like it. See, negative thoughts love an idle mind. They love it when you are just sitting around with nothing to do. That is when they do their best work. When you are just sitting around doing nothing, that is when your mind starts running wild. That is when you start overthinking. That is when you start imagining worst-case scenarios. That is when doubt creeps in and makes itself comfortable. An idle mind is a playground for negativity. But when you are busy working towards something, you do not have time to entertain those negative thoughts. When you are taking steps toward your goal, your mind is focused on solutions, not problems. When you are in motion, the negativity cannot catch you. Action is the antidote. Get busy, get moving. Stop sitting around marinating in your own negativity. I do not care if you only have 1 hour a day to work on your dream. Use that hour. I do not care if your first step is small. Take it. I do not care if you do not have everything figured out yet. Start anyway. Procrastination is the partner of negative thinking. They work together to keep you stuck. Procrastination keeps you from acting, and negative thinking justifies why you did not act. It is a cycle that will trap you forever if you let it. But the moment you start taking action, you break that cycle. Every successful person I know is a person of action. They do not sit around waiting for the perfect moment. They do not wait until they feel ready. They do not wait until the fear goes away. They move despite the fear. They act despite the doubt. They keep going despite the negative thoughts. You are never going to think your way to success. You are going to act your way to success. And somewhere along the way, as you are taking action, those negative thoughts will start to quiet down. They will realize that they do not have as much power over you as they used to. Too many of you are rehearsing your failure before it even happens. You run through scenarios in your head where everything goes wrong. You practice your disappointment speech. You imagine all the ways it could fall apart. You prepare yourself for the worst instead of preparing yourself for success. Think about how much mental energy you spend on this. Think about how many hours you have spent worrying about things that never even happened. Think about how many sleepless nights you have had over scenarios that only existed in your imagination. That is time and energy you will never get back. And then you wonder why you do not have the courage to try. Of course, you are scared. You have already lived out the failure in your mind 100 times. You have already experienced the disappointment. You have already felt the rejection. Your brain does not know the difference between what you imagine and what actually happens. So when it comes time to actually leap, your brain thinks it has already failed. It thinks it already knows how this story ends. And it tries to protect you by keeping you from even trying. But it is protecting you from something that has not happened and might never happen. What if you started rehearsing your success instead? What if you spent that same mental energy imagining things going right? What if you practiced your victory speech instead of your defeat speech? What if you visualized yourself winning instead of losing? Your mind will follow whatever you feed it. If you keep feeding it failure, it will produce failure. If you keep feeding it doubt, it will produce more doubt. But if you start feeding it success, if you start feeding it possibility, if you start feeding it hope, everything changes. I want you to start running new scenarios in your head. I want you to start seeing yourself achieving your goals. I want you to start imagining what it will feel like when you finally break through, because what you rehearse in your mind is what you will perform in your life. Some of you cannot shake your negative thoughts because you cannot shake your mistakes. You messed up somewhere along the way, and now that is all you can see when you look at yourself. That failure from years ago is still playing on repeat in your mind every single day. Every time you try to move forward, your mind reminds you of that time you fell. Every time you try to dream again, your mind pulls up the receipt from your last failure. Every time you try to believe in yourself, your mind presents evidence from the past to prove that you should not. But let me tell you something that took me years to understand. You are not your mistakes. Your mistakes are events. They are things that happen. They are moments in time. But they are not your identity. They do not define who you are or what you are capable of becoming. I have done things in my life that I am not proud of. I have made decisions that I wish I could take back. I have failed publicly in ways that were embarrassing and painful. I have fallen more times than I can count. But I am not defined by my falls. I am defined by the fact that I got back up. I am defined by the fact that I kept going. I am defined by the fact that I refuse to let my mistakes have the final word. And you can be defined by those same things if you choose to be. Stop letting your past failures dictate your future possibilities. Stop using your mistakes as evidence that you should not try again. Some of the greatest success stories in history are stories of people who failed over and over again before they finally got it right. Your mistakes taught you something. Your failures gave you experience. Your falls showed you what does not work. All of that is valuable if you let it be, but it becomes worthless if you let it keep you stuck. Learn from your mistakes and then let them go. Look at anybody who has ever achieved anything great in this world. I mean, really study their stories. Dig into their biographies. Listen to their interviews, and you will find something that they all have in common. Every single one of them had to kill their negative thoughts to get there. Every single one of them had moments of doubt. Every single one of them had a voice in their head telling them to quit. Every single one of them faced internal battles that nobody else could see. Success does not exempt you from negative thinking. It requires you to overcome it. The difference between them and the people who never made it is that they refused to let those thoughts win. When their mind said quit, they kept going. When their mind said it was impossible, they found a way. When their mind said they were not good enough, they proved themselves wrong. Success is not for the people who never doubt themselves. There is no such person. Everyone doubts themselves at some point. Everyone has moments when they want to give up. Everyone has times when the negative thoughts are screaming louder than anything else. Success is for the people who doubt themselves and do it anyway. Success is for the people who are scared and move forward anyway. Success is for the people who hear the negative voice and refuse to obey it. That is the only difference between those who make it and those who do not. Do not think for 1 second that successful people have it all figured out. Do not think they wake up every morning with perfect confidence and zero fear. They deal with the same mental battles you deal with. They just learned how to win those battles. And if they can learn to win, so can you. You are not different from them. You are not made of a different material. You have the same capacity to overcome your negative thoughts that every successful person who came before you had. You just have to decide that you are going to use it. There is power in your thoughts. Real power. Not the kind of power that people like to talk about in some abstract philosophical way. I am talking about tangible, practical, life-changing power. What you think about has a direct impact on what your life looks like. What you think about eventually becomes what you talk about. Pay attention to your conversations, and you will see proof of this. The things you are constantly thinking about are the same things that come out of your mouth. Your words are just your thoughts made audible. What you talk about eventually becomes what you do. When you talk about something enough, it starts to influence your behavior. If you are always talking about why you cannot succeed, You will start acting like someone who cannot succeed. If you are always talking about your limitations, you will start living within those limitations. What you do eventually becomes your life. Your actions repeated over time create your habits. Your habits create your character. Your character creates your destiny. And it all started with a thought. It all began with something you allowed to take root in your mind. So if you are constantly thinking negative thoughts, you are creating a negative reality. You are building a life that matches your mindset. You are constructing your future with the bricks of your own thinking. And if those bricks are made of doubt and fear and insecurity, that is what your future will look like. Your mind is a factory. It is producing your future every single day, whether you realize it or not. And right now, some of you have a factory that is producing garbage. You have an assembly line in your head that is creating nothing but limitations, excuses, and reasons why you cannot win. You have to shut down that production line and start producing something better. You have to change what the factory is making. You have to give it new materials to work with, better thoughts, bigger dreams, stronger beliefs. That is how you change your reality. Now, here is something important that most people do not understand about how the mind works. You cannot just erase a negative thought. You cannot just delete it like a file on your computer. That is not how the brain operates. When you try not to think about something, you end up thinking about it more. Try this right now. Try not to think about a purple elephant. Do not think about a purple elephant with big floppy ears. See what happened. The moment I told you not to think about it, that is exactly what you thought about. Your brain does not process negatives the same way you think it does. This is why telling yourself to stop thinking negatively does not work. This is why trying to push the negative thoughts out of your mind is an exercise in frustration. You are working against the way your brain naturally functions. And you will lose that fight every single time. Instead of trying to erase negative thoughts, you have to replace them. When a negative thought comes, you need something positive ready to take its place. You need a substitution that your brain can grab onto. You need a replacement thought that is stronger than the original. So when you think I am not good enough, you replace it with I am more than enough. When you think I always fail, you replace it with I learn and I grow from every experience. When you think nobody believes in me, you replace it with I believe in myself, and that is enough. You have to be prepared for this. You have to know in advance what replacement thoughts you are going to use. You cannot wait until the negative thought hits and then try to come up with something on the spot. You have to be armed and ready before the battle even starts. Replacement is the key. You cannot leave a space in your mind because something will fill it. If you do not fill it with something positive, another negative thought will rush in to take the place of the one you just tried to remove. You have to be intentional about what occupies your mental space. Too many people are waiting for somebody else to validate them before they believe in themselves. They are looking around waiting for permission. They need someone to give them the green light. They need someone to co-sign their dream before they feel like they can pursue it. They need a parent to tell them they are proud of them. They need a spouse to tell them they can do it. They need a friend to tell them their idea is good. They need a boss to tell them they are valuable. They are constantly looking for external validation to quiet the internal doubt. But let me tell you something that will change your life if you let it. You do not need anyone else to believe in you. That is not their job. That was never their job. Their job is to believe in themselves. Your job is to believe in yourself. Anything else is a bonus. Stop looking around for approval. Stop waiting for someone to permit you to chase your dream. Stop putting your future in the hands of people who are not going to live your life. Stop giving other people that much power over what you do with the time you have been given. Look in the mirror and give yourself the approval you have been waiting for. Tell yourself that you are capable. Tell yourself that you are worthy. Tell yourself that you have what it takes, and mean it. Do not wait for someone else to say it first. You say it first. The validation you are looking for has been inside you the whole time. You do not need to borrow confidence from someone else. You do not need to rent belief from another person. Everything you need to move forward is already within you. You just have to access it. Some of the people you are waiting to believe in you are never going to believe in you. Some of them are too wrapped up in their own doubts to encourage yours. Some of them do not have the vision to see what you see, and that is okay. Their belief was never a requirement for your success. Keno 15 that you were created for a purpose, and your negative thoughts know it. Here is why your negative thoughts are so persistent. Here is why they never seem to give up on trying to bring you down. Here is why the battle in your mind is so intense. Because they know something. They know you were created for a purpose. They know there is greatness inside of you. They know there is potential in you that has not been tapped yet. They know there is a calling on your life that could change everything. And they are terrified of what would happen if you ever figured that out. They know that if you ever truly believed in yourself, there would be no stopping you. They know that if you ever silenced the doubt, you would accomplish things beyond your wildest imagination. They know that the only thing standing between you and your destiny is the belief that you cannot reach it. Your negative thoughts are trying to protect a lie. The lie that you are ordinary. The lie that you do not matter. The lie that your life is not significant. The lie that you have nothing special to offer the world. They are fighting to keep that lie alive because it keeps you under control. But the truth is, you were put on this earth for a reason. There is something you are supposed to do that nobody else can do the way you can do it. There is a contribution you are supposed to make that the world is waiting for. There is a gift inside you that needs to be expressed, and your negative thoughts are the only thing standing between you and that reason. They are the gatekeepers blocking the door to your purpose. They are the bouncer trying to keep you out of the place you were meant to be. But they are not stronger than you unless you let them be. The size of your negative thoughts is often proportional to the size of your purpose. The bigger the destiny, the bigger the doubt. The greater the calling, the greater the resistance. So when those negative thoughts come hard, maybe it is a sign that you are onto something big. I do not care how long you have been losing the battle against your negative thoughts. I do not care how many times they have defeated you. I do not care how many times you have tried to change your thinking and failed. None of that matters because every morning you wake up is another chance to win. I do not care how many days, weeks, months, or years you have spent believing the wrong things about yourself. I do not care how long you have been trapped in a cycle of negativity. I do not care how hopeless it might seem from where you are sitting right now. There is still hope because you are still breathing. Every day is a reset. Every morning is a fresh start. Every time you open your eyes and see a new day, you are being given another opportunity to get it right. The past is gone. Yesterday is over. This moment right here is all you have, and it is more than enough. You do not have to be trapped by what you thought yesterday. The thoughts you had last week do not have to follow you into this week. The beliefs you held last year do not have to be the beliefs you hold this year. You have the power to change your mind at any moment. Today you can think about something different. Today you can choose something different. Today you can speak about something different in your life. Today can be the day that everything changes. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when everything lines up perfectly. Today. Too many people are waiting for Monday to start over. Too many people are waiting for the new year to make a change. Too many people are waiting for some special moment to begin. But the most special moment you have is right now. This is it. This is your moment. Wake up tomorrow morning and decide that it is going to be different. Wake up and decide that you are done letting your negative thoughts run your life. Wake up and declare that this is the day you take your power back. Every single morning is a chance to win. Stop wasting them. What I have been describing to you is not a game. This is not some casual thing you can take or leave. This is war, real war. A war that is being fought in your mind every single day, whether you acknowledge it or not. And in this war, either you kill your negative thoughts or they kill your dreams. Either you defeat them or they defeat you. Either you take control of your mind or your mind takes control of you. There is no neutral ground. There is no Switzerland in this battle. You are either winning or you are losing. Those thoughts want to kill your potential. They want to kill your happiness. They want to kill your peace. They want to kill your purpose. They want to kill every good thing that is trying to grow in your life. And they will if you let them. They will if you do not fight back. There is no middle ground here. There is no truce you can call. You cannot negotiate a peace treaty with your negative thoughts. You cannot reason with them or compromise with them. They do not respond to logic. They only respond to force. And you have to be willing to use it. Every single day you have to wake up and make a decision. You have to decide before your feet hit the floor that today you will not be controlled by what you think about yourself when you are at your lowest. You have to decide that you will fight back with everything you have. You have to decide that today those negative thoughts die. Not tomorrow, not eventually, today. Because if they do not die, you will never truly live. You will exist, but you will not thrive. You will survive, but you will not flourish. You will get by, but you will never break through. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep letting those thoughts run your life? Are you going to keep listening to that voice that has been holding you back for years? Or are you going to stand up and look those negative thoughts in the face and tell them that their time is up? The choice is yours. It has always been yours. Now go out there and kill those negative thoughts before they kill everything you were meant to become.